What's the weirdest sexual request you've ever had? Part 2. I dated a guy who had a trash bag fetish. Somewhere he got a humongous bag that we both fit into and we fucked inside it. The feeling of the bag on your skin was actually quite pleasant. One of my ex-boyfriends had a thing with power. He would only ever finish once I told him he could. It was kinda hot. Randomly. Without me knowing when. Wake me up by sucking/licking my toes. It was guaranteed sex. So I did it a lot. A former FWB asked me to fuck her hole holding a knife to her throat. It had to be a real knife too. If she knew it was fake it wouldn't work for her. A girl wanted me to make the ahego face. I just couldn't risk that being screenshot. When I was 18. I had a guy ask me to bite down hard on his pinky finger as I wanked him off. His little finger had scar tissue all around it. I don't know if it was from his own teeth as he masturbated or from other people and I didn't ask. Nor did I bite it. That relationship ended quickly. I don't have much experience to go on and didn't really have anything to compare it to at the time. But thought it was a weird kink to have. When I relayed the story to my husband early in our relationship, he laughed his arse off and confirmed that yes, it was a weird kink. A girl I met at the bar wanted to take me home and blow me while I shat in her toilet. Said she enjoyed the smell of POO while a load gets blown in her mouth. Had a girl ask to hold my head in her arms and suck on her tit like a baby. We were 17. She had double DS. I know it is popular but asking for toe sucking was always weird to me. I had one lady that wanted me to slap this hell out of her tits. I thought that hurt but it taught me everybody is different. She wanted me to hit her. Like really hard. 22 years old virgin girl. Christian background. Never even saw porn. In nurse school she saw enema. Got super aroused. Now we are talking about taking her virginity. She says before I take her anal virginity, I should do an enema on her and that it really turns her on. I was hitting it hard from the back with this one girl and she told me to fuck me like a toaster as she came. It's been like 12 years and I'm still confused. She asked me to call her by a different name. Which wasn't too weird on its own. It became weird when I found out it was her roommate's name. He has a huge ball torture kink and wanted me to draw blood from his balls and lick it off. She asked me to sing to her. I'm not musically gifted in any way. But I have been called a smart ass on more than one occasion. So I sang I'm a Little Teapot. May have ruined that session. But was kinda worth it emo. A guy I once knew just wanted big women to sit on him. Fully clothed. Not a lap dance. Just sit. I had a guy ask me to swallow dice and marbles because girls swallowing objects that weren't food really turned him on. Oh man, to see you swallow those marbles and imagine they're in your belly rolling around in there, it's so hot. He was a funny dude. Also another guy wanted me to stick a screwdriver up his ass while I shit and he vomited on me. I didn't text him again. Can I have your bass guitar? I need to FAP to something, my band's drummer. Lights off. Shirts on. Standard missionary position. I haven't had that exciting of a sex life. He wanted me to play dentist on him and hurt him while I poke around in there with dental picks and tools. Just started seeing this guy and on the third date we are having bedroom talk and he tells me he would like to share me with his friends. I got dressed and flew out of there ASAP. Not me. Friend/co-worker. He is married but often has a girlfriend on the side. One particular girl had the strangest request I have ever heard. She wanted him to punch her in the mouth so her mouth fills with blood. Throw her down the stairs. Fuck her where she landed and choking on her own blood and take a piss on her when he was done. He's told me the story a million times. I never believe him. She was in the shop visiting one day and he tells the story again. Her response, yeah, this pussy wouldn't do it. Had a relationship end because I wasn't comfortable with the idea of pseudo-kidnapping my GF and taking her to the woods for a role-played rape. Ask me to bind. Gag. Blindfold her. Put her in a bag and take her to the woods for role-played assault. Said it was her greatest fantasy, I just couldn't do it. Felt wrong. I was once with this girl and we were in the middle of sex and then she out of the blues choked me and said cut my nipples. I was about to come at that time but after hearing that my penis shrinked and I shivered. She told me again and again to cut her nipples like with a scissor or something and I couldn't help but try to avoid it. When she knew I wasn't going to do that she spanked me so fucking hard and cut her hair. The most cursed night of my life till date. I have been asked to go fuck myself. Okay. This is awful. I got propositioned by a colostotud. Be careful with that Google. Edit, I'm so sorry. So very sorry for this mental picture. Was doing Uber/Lyft a few years ago. Was chatting with this guy as I took him home after clubs one Saturday night. We get back to his place and he asks if he could give me a blowjob if he paid me $100. It was his thing. I said no thanks, my wife would be upset. Relating the story to her the next morning, she was indeed upset. We could have used $100. Had a FWB who used to sleep over at my apartment. She once told me that she likes to sleep naked. And that she wanted me to wake her up with my dick. Like whenever I wanted to. In whatever hole I wanted. The rougher the better. She was a good friend. My friends and I were all partying and were pretty drunk. One of my fuck buddies was there, so we were making out on and off throughout the night. There was another guy who I just met who found out I was a switch, DOM/sub, and was super into the idea of me cooking and dominating him, brought it up throughout the night. Around bedtime I told him to go sleep on the floor because I wanted to sleep on the couch with my FWB and he said that's so hot and went right to the floor. My friend and I started getting handsy and then we heard from the ground, is there anything I can help you with? And asked 3 times before we stopped and just went to bed. And then I woke up in the morning to my toes in his mouth. On Omegle. Stranger, would you like to watch me shit on a plate? Me, thinking it's a gag, fuck yeah, let's see it. Proceeds to turn around. Already squatting with a plate under his hairy ass Sirac as he fucking turtle heads in front of the camera. This girl asked me to surprise rape her. It freaked me out. She gave me her schedule and explained how she would be at the library every night for 2 weeks until midnight leading up to final exams. She asked me to attack her on her walk back from the library but didn't want to know when or where on her walk back to her place. Had a boy who apparently fell in love with me after watching me choke on a grape, request that I freeze my period blood in an ice tray so he could use the ice cubes to make smoothies in the morning. When I declined, he offered to pay me. I was 16. He was 17 or 18. Edit, I added in the part about choking on the grape because it is extremely strange to me that that is what he decided made him fall in love with me. My husband asked us to have sex wearing a mini and goofy costume. I thought it was strange. But I agreed. At the time of the act. He was laughing like Goofy and saying, hee hee. Don't tell Mickey. I had someone tell me that she wanted to bite my lower stomach until I bled. Then use my blood as lube to fuck her in the ass. I was about 14 at the time and had absolutely zero clue how to respond. Edit, spelling. Probably choking. Like until the point of passing out. Maybe not super weird. But I looked it up to know how to do it safely. And found out it really can't be done without very serious risks. So I passed. I was once asked if she could call me daddy. Sounds normal enough, but then she said, "Daddy. Faster before mommy comes home." Not a request to me, but I used to work in the porn industry and it's common on shoots for the performers to discuss signals and what gets each other off. Especially the guy, so they can time the money shot. One male performer has a specific thing that requires someone to rub his belly. Like between pubes and belly button area with their palm in order for him to come. It's very oddly specific, but I'm guessing he's trained himself to associate that sensation with nutting. It's not easy for male performers as they are often on a timer. Like directors give them a signal to do money shot and they have to come on command. Post-sex. There have been 2 women who've asked me to put my soft penis in them while we spoon and sleep. I'm not a Casanova, so I assume it's not as uncommon as one might think. Hitting. Not just playful hitting or slapping some ass. It was like a demon had taken over her body and she was yelling at me to hit her in the face as hard as I could. Felt like I was in a really shitty porn shoot. So I was hooking up with this girl and she was like, oh, I'm into DDLG. I have no idea what this is and she proceeds to explain it's daddy little girl play. I'm uncomfortable with it. But she's hot and I've always thought I'd try anything once. Anyway. I have a little fun with it and it's not as bad as I expected. She's popping in some "what do you want me to do now daddy?" And I'm basically just rolling with it. Before this all started, she'd told me she had a cum fetish too. And that she enjoys lots of cum, so I've invested in saving up for a day or two. So anyway, I end up coming in her. And I wasn't really prepared for what came next. She wanted me to scoop the cum out of her vagina and drip it into her mouth. So there I am. Post-cum clarity. Dripping cum into a woman's mouth while she's saying yes daddy. More. And that's about the time I realized I'm not into that. Dated a girl that wanted me to slap her face with my dick. At first I was like yeah. But she got increasingly harder with the slaps. The underside of my junk would be burning, she was slapping her face so hard. It was 100% what turned her on, to the point that I lobbed a hot dog at her one time as a joke during a cookout and hit her in the face, and later she told me she got turned on from it. Thanks for watching.